Welcome back to our Plan Set 1 framing project, where we are taking our previous completed Plan Set 1 project and we took off the shed part of it, and now we're going to frame it up like we are building this in the backyard. And so in our previous episode, we finished up our both left and right sides, as those were just blank walls. In this episode, we're going to create blank walls for our front and our back wall, with the intention of placing in our doors and windows afterwards, because if we do a blank wall, our front door or our front wall will be the same as our back wall, so we can just copy it over and then do our modifications for our door and window. So we want to reuse our components as much as possible. I don't want a different component over here than my side walls. So I'm going to take one of these, it doesn't matter which one, hit Control and bring that over, and then with your move tool we will rotate our board around. Remember, you're always moving it from a corner to corner, so let's move this over to this corner. Let's bring it over 16 inches. And then before you click on anything else, do X, and I'm going to do 10. It's probably a little too much, but it's okay. So here we'll actually save that one, I think. No, we can delete that one. Let's take this one, hit your M key for your move tool. We're going to move it to this corner, so we want to make sure we click it from this corner. And as you can see, we have that little interior corner where now I can nail in drywall from this wall and on this wall without any kind of brackets or anything like that. Plus we have our little space for more insulation or anything like that. So that's why our corners are like this. Next, hit your space bar to bring up your selection tool. We're going to take our move tool and we're simply going to hit Control and bring that up. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one up as well. We need to right click and make this one unique, as we need to push pull this one. Let's try this again. So make unique, edit component, there we go. And we'll bring that out. So this is how your corners should look. We overlap our two double top plates, so that way they're interlocking. Next, we're going to take our selection tool, hold down Shift, and click on all of these boards. Hit our move tool, move it from this right back corner, hit Control, and we're going to bring that all the way back over here. So now we have all of our basic walls. Let's go through here and kind of mark where we're going to put our jack studs. So for our front door, it is centered on our wall. So this right here is 12 feet. So if we make sure that our line is red, we're going to type in 6 feet. And that is our center of our doorway. Our doorway is 2'8", so we'll go in 1 foot 4 inches on each side. So these two guides are where our jack stud's going to be on the outside of that. So I want to take this 2x4 make a copy of it and place it right here on that guide. I'm then going to take this, we're going to make it unique. I'm going to edit my component. We're going to create a guide from the floor, bring up 6'8". Take your push-pull tool. I don't need to see the top of the board in order to bring it down. I'm going to click on where the top of the board should be and bring it down. Move our mouse over top of the guide and lock it into that 6'8" mark. Select your move tool, and we're going to bring this over, hit Control, and place it there. Now, the gap right here can only be a max of 16 inches. So I simply can't move this one over here to be our king stud. So I'm going to take this one and make a copy of it and place it right there. So that's why we have three next to each other. We have our jack stud, we have our king stud, and because if I remove this one, the gap would be wider than 16 inches, we'll have that stud there. Here on the other side, I'm going to take this one and we will make that our king stud. I like to leave our studs there normally. So after we put in our header, we're going to put in a 2x6 header. This is where our purple studs will be. So that's kind of, I'll leave those there for just then, and then we'll take those out here in a little bit. Delete some of our guides. There we go. So your headers are made up of 2x6, 2x4, 2x8, depending on the span. So we got an inch and a half on one side and an inch and a half on the other. That leaves you with a 1/2 inch gap that we fill in with a piece of plywood, 1/2 inch plywood. So we're just going to create 2x6s. So we're going to go up 5.5 inches. Select our rectangle tool, and I'm simply going to create these all individually, but all within the same group. Bring those over, hover over that back edge. Triple click on all of it will select, and we're going to just turn this into a group. If you're building this bigger house, you can turn all of that into a component, as you'll probably have a lot more 2x8 or 2 foot by 8 or 2 feet 8 inch doors. But for this small shed, we only have one. Same thing with the window. We only have one window that is 4 foot, so no need to really make it a component. Next, really quick, let's go in here, and I want to put a guide on that left mark. Same thing with this one. Let's make this one unique. We're going to go to the bottom of it. Add a component. And we're going to bring that up. You can also, if you're having problems with that, you can make a new 2x4. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you're more comfortable with. Next, I can delete this one, We have our guide there, so I'm simply going to take this, hit Control, and place it there. Last thing we do to finish up this doorway, you always have a cripple stud at the ends of each header. And now we can delete our guides. Here I'm going to make this one unique. We're going to edit the component, take our rectangle tool, draw in our rectangle, select your push-pull tool, and let's bring that down. Erase any kind of stray marks. And there is our doorway. In our next episode, we will modify the back wall in order to add in our window. And then after that, we will place in our little bitty closet and modify this left wall. So hopefully that helped you out with the doorway. Stay tuned for more episodes in this playlist as we finish up framing up our shed.